Welcome to the Daily Wander. Today we find ourselves down at the Kramer's Field Migratory Bird Refuge. Now, for people in Fairbanks and North Pole, interior of Alaska, we just refer to it as Kramer's Field, which I'll do from here on out. But we're down here to do a little bit of wander, mostly walking because this is a place we go walking year-round. Although there are opportunities for people to, well, dog mush and snow machine and ski and ride mountain bikes. But a lot of us just come down here for a nice peaceful place to spend some time walking in the woods. And in the season, when the birds come through, either in the spring when they're arriving or in the fall when they're going away, this is a real common and popular place to go. So we're going to go check out one of the trails today. Come along on today, the Daily Wander. So at the center of Kramer's Field is the old Kramer's Dairy, which is now kind of a focal point. It's where the little gift shop is. It's where the visitor center is. But this used to be the center of everything related to Kramer's Field. Kramer's Field was established by the Kramer family. And basically this operated as a dairy to supply milk and milk products to the booming town of Fairbanks. As the Kramer family aged, and the family farm was not continued, eventually the idea was to turn this into a refuge because that was his vision of the future. And so he had been feeding the geese that were coming through for a long time, and probably the most famous bird here is the sandhill cranes that come along with it. And so when the Kramers passed, eventually the state of Alaska purchased the property, purchased the farmhouse, and turned it into a bird refuge, which it currently is today. So for most of the walking on Kramer's Field, if you start at the dairy, at the farmhouse, basically you have a sign and a map, kind of gives you an idea where to go. But mostly all the trails pretty much start from here, or you can get to all of them from here. So nice starting place here, just right next to the farmhouse. We'll head out on the trail and make our first decision, whether we go left or whether we go right. Decision time. As you can see by the sign behind me, they mark two major trails, and there are two major trails that are out here. But the reality is there's lots of other places you can wander at Kramer's Field. I think tonight, for the first time, we're going to take you on the Boreal Forest Trail, because there's a nice boardwalk that's part of it. It's a shorter trail, so think about probably about a mile's worth of walking, but it gives you a good introduction to one of the trails here at Kramer's Field, and also what the Boreal Forest is like. Now, we are here in late summer. Of course, that's going to be changed a lot come winter, but come along and we'll go see where this trail leads us. So here's the first junction you're going to have to make a decision with. The Boreal Trail goes to the right here, but a Fairbanks location of, well, everybody knows this location, happens to be to the left here. And you can see there's a bridge that leads through the trees. And if you look or search for wedding photos, Fairbanks, senior pictures, Fairbanks, anything like that, you are going to see lots and lots of pictures that have been taken on this bridge. Just one of those well-known landmarks here at Kramer's Field. Easy to get to, 5-minute walk. Very, very popular place. So nice little treat there. We found a cluster of about 20-25 cranes down in what is usually a pond, but this time of year it's dried up. But they're down there kind of fledging. They look like a bunch of young ones. They're out there playing and I guess doing what cranes do. So we'll definitely have to come back a little later for a little crane photography. But we're going to continue on the Boreal Trail Forest despite that little distraction with the bridge and the Fairbanks photo spot. Let's continue on. So this is our Boreal Forest. Boreal Forest basically is a combination of birch, a lot of spruce, white spruce if you have enough water, but a lot of the dwarf black spruce. And the undergrowth is there. This time of year there's a lot. It disappears the rest of the time. Tends to be a little swampy in places or dry depending on if you have the elevation or not the elevation. In this case, on the Boreal Trail, we basically are in a lower area, so there's a lot of moisture that hangs on the ground. In the spring it's all flooded. As fall approaches it dries out a little bit, but it's a breeding area for mosquitoes, and what you probably can't see right now is the mosquito that's buzzing around the lens. And I thought he was going to pop down and make an appearance, but it looks like he's decided maybe not this time. Right now, not a lot of mosquitoes out here. Other times of the year, if you want to experience Alaskan mosquitoes at their fullest, come on out on the Boreal Trail and you will be swarmed by thousands and thousands of Alaska state bird. We're going to continue down the trail now. Thanks for coming along. Another feature of the boreal forest, and in this case we're on a birch, is what we refer to as bear's bread. Actually, it's a fungus that grows. Plants need to be kind of in their dying stages, but then this fungus takes over and grows these pretty interesting growths that can get quite large. So after completing the boardwalks, you eventually get to another junction where you have to decide, do I continue going to the trees? Or in fact, do I take this other boardwalk? If you go back through the trees, you'll go back to the starting point of this trail. If you come through the boardwalk, which you can see behind me, this will lead you back out on the fields where you then can make a choice to do a walk around the fields or do a longer walk which takes you back to Wander Lake, which we'll do in another video sometime in the future. But either way, a good choice. The boardwalk's always nice because it opens things up a little bit, and right time of year, that's where you'll hear the wood frogs doing their croaking. Unfortunately, that season is past, but if you want to see them, I did do a previous video on the wood frogs, and you're welcome to go back and look at that if you wish. That concludes our little walk around of the Boreal Forest Trail here at Kramer's Field. Overall length from the farmhouse, probably about a mile, maybe a mile and a half at the most. It's easy. There's actually places that the boardwalk has ramps on it, so it's semi-accessible. Though I wouldn't say it's completely accessible by any means. It's some place you can walk, summer, winter, spring, fall. The biggest problem is mosquitoes at the wrong time of year. But thanks for coming along on the Daily Wander as we explore the Kramer's Field Migratory Bird Refuge located in Fairbanks, Alaska.